Greta Thunberg, a peak hypocrisy.
Oh no.
Rightfully called out. She got on a boat and tried to slide into Gaza to provide humanitarian aid / protest. Rightfully scooped up by
The IDF.
And was asked to watch the October 7th videos and is refusing to.
The IDF was like, "Oh, we're going to do some propaganda with Greta Thunberg."
You gonna know what you talking about?
And so, why did they scoop her up? What's the legal precedent to scoop up Greta
You can't
Thunberg?
just go over the ocean into Gaza.
Why not?
There's a war.
So you got to either be for Hamas or you got to be for the IDF. So they were like, "We're saving you. You don't even know what you're getting into."
I think so.
That's funny.
Go ahead and play this.
Thunberg and her flotilla comrades refused to watch the videos of Hamas's atrocities on October 7th. Well, what does this say about their protest? Dominique Hoffman of the Philos Project joins us now. So Dominique, what does this say about Greta?
Well, thank you for having me. And I think this really exemplifies that the Freedom Flotilla, as it has been called, was on a journey to first make a political statement about Israel. I don't think this flotilla ever expected to actually reach Gaza. They were waiting for that publicity stunt, that moment to then turn to the world and claim that they were kidnapped by Israel. And I think
So they said they're kidnapped at Israel?
That's what they wanted. That's how they wanted it to look.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Got the little Palestinian flag.
Yeah.
We're just sailing in on our boat.
Into a war zone.
Just on a little vacation rental.
This is crazy.
We just
What a great stunt though. This is that international news.
That's pretty good.
Right?
We should have done that.
I should have thought of something like that.
That's like good marketing.
Hey, Godly Ambition is coming out, and I'm gonna go
Put a daggone Godly Ambition
What's
flag.
one of those videos?
Sail into
What is
Russia.
Those Tyler videos where he's like
Tyler Oliveira.
Yeah, going into the front lines of
He's
to
like,
tell them about godly, how to reorient yourself.
I went into Palestine to tell them about Godly Ambition.
This is a great stunt, though. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think it highlights the political narcissism and the performative activism that has really swept the West over the last many years, but is really at the corner of this social justice movement that Greta Thunberg is really the head of.
You know, I'm going to say a little statement that might come across as harsh, but let me preface with this. I am a hypocrite. I have no judgment to lay on anyone else's plate because I know myself. I'm flawed. I'm a sinful man, and I'm a hypocrite. That being said, this to me, Greta, I know you're only 22, and if you're watching this, again, it's not because I come from a place of judgment, but you have made a name for basically shaming people for not paying attention to climate change, right? That's why you're famous.
Raj is cooking.
Raj
said, "I'm not asking questions today."
Ain't that? I mean, that's a good point.
It's facts.
People are denying something you want them to look at, and then when you have the opportunity to look at something the rest of the world is denying, which is everything happening in Gaza is a response to the atrocities of October 7th.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny.
Heavy-handed, not heavy-handed, sloppy, not sloppy, surgical, leaflets, not leaflets, get people out, text messages, not text messages.
You're going to need to watch some people die if you're going to walk in on a boat.
Right. And so it's like, this is a response. This is nothing in Gaza would be happening if it wasn't for October 7th.
Yeah, hello.
I'm not trying to oversimplify it, but it wouldn't be happening if it wasn't for October 7th.
Yeah. I mean,
so, you know, you could say that, oh, you're a shill for the Israelis or whatever, but it's like, hey, think about it. Like, it's not that deep.
Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Everyone got, and so again, multiple things can be true at the same time. That also doesn't make it okay for the folks that are going through it and living in hell, and the civilians that perhaps aren't sympathetic in the least to Hamas, don't have anything to do with Hamas, and they're losing family and kids. Like, that's also tragic. So multiple things can be true at the same time.
And yet, in this moment, this apex moment of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict that you've inserted yourself in, you refuse to look at the evidence yourself.
Right.
So to me, you have officially transitioned from a climate activist to a hypocrisy activist. So you've lost all credibility with me. I think you have done yourself an immense disservice, because if you're not even willing to watch what happened, you're not a balanced activist. You are, as you said, you're just hypocritical. She
looks 4 years old. She's like,
doesn't she also have autism?
Does that make you look 4 years old?
I don't know.
Maybe.
I think she does. I think that was confirmed.
You preach all these things that you're not going to do yourself. And again, when it comes to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, I've intentionally immersed myself in both sides. I've been to the Palestinian territories in Israel over 30 times. I have friends on both sides. I want to know the truth, that, find out what's actually happening. And I don't think you do, Greta, and you just showed that to the entire planet. So Dominic, what do you hope people take away from this whole flotilla Gaza thing? How can people actually genuinely help the Palestinian civilians that are in Gaza? Where should people turn to?
Well, first, as Christians, I think prayer is an incredible place to start. I think over the last year and a half, we've really seen the spiritual dimensions of this conflict with misinformation being spread. And this is also, a conflict and a spiritual battle between faith and then, secular ideologies such as critical theory, which Greta Thunberg is really at the head of. And we've seen that woke ideology on the left spread across our college campuses in the United States as well. And they'll talk about the Palestinian people, but the Palestinians really represent this idea of liberation for their own cause. So Greta Thunberg with social justice, she views the world through an oppressor-oppressed paradigm in the same way that the Israeli-Palestinian conflict has been framed. So really the idea of the Palestinians is what she's interested in, not the actual well-being of the Palestinian people. And so beyond prayer, I think looking to legitimate aid channels, that's something that the Israeli government pointed out, that the flotilla was not a legitimate form of aid. Again, going back to this being...
What's a flotilla? Is that what they're calling it?
It's the boat that they came on. They're saying that you guys weren't really trying to provide aid.
There was nothing to
make
it.
It
was
was a spectacle.
Yeah, it was just a meme.
Yeah. And yes, in her framework, anyone who has power, anyone who has authority, anyone who is successful is an oppressor. And anyone who is weak and doesn't have power is oppressed.
Yeah.
Right? The issue with this framework is it does not allow for human sinfulness and the impact of that. Right. And so there are terrible things that have happened in everybody's history. Here's a practical example. The situation in Haiti, right? Haiti, Dominican Republic share an island. Dominican Republic has been consistently improving the quality of life for their people, consistently progressing, consistently growing. Haiti shares a body of land with them. Mm-hmm. And yes, Haiti has also had terrible colonialism under the French, yet both have now been removed, and Haiti had an opportunity to go legit, but all their leaders have been very corrupt, right? And so it's like, this is explored in the book Toxic, I think it's called Toxic Charity. All these resources pouring in, all these things pouring in, what it does is enables the government to not have to build the infrastructure, enables the people to just pocket the resources that are being sent. And so you got billions of dollars that have been sent into Gaza, billions of dollars that have been sent into parts of Haiti. And it doesn't mean that the Haitian people are bad. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying when you just view everything through an oppressor-oppressed paradigm, you don't allow for the reality that people are also sinful. And when sinful people get power and get access to do whatever they want to do, they tend to behave in ways that's not most beneficial for their constituents. And I think that is a fair summation of what happened in Haiti. And that is a fair summation of what's been happening in Gaza. Despite popular opinion, Gaza has been self-governed for 20 years. 20 years. Billions of dollars poured into Gaza. And guess where all that money went? Did it go into feeding the people? Did it go into roads? Did it go into infrastructure? No. It went into their military. It went into sending rockets over Israel. Right? And so I think that's the shallowness of some of these responses. Is everybody wants a nice simple sentence hashtag response to whatever is free Palestine.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like it's a bit more complicated than that.
A little bit.
And yeah, and Faith pointed out rightfully, shout out to Faith Cooper, with that framework, wouldn't Greta herself be an oppressor because she leads a privileged life? In that framework, your entire identity falls on itself. Well, and to be fair, that's where the idea of like white guilt comes from, and I'm a part of the problem unless I'm this activist who's speaking truth to power.
Yeah,
that's where a lot of this weirdo behavior comes from. You know,
Caleb pointed out that the sales were down, so the boat was running on fossil fuels.
This is hypocrisy upon hypocrisy upon hypocrisy. I want you guys to know, Occupied Till I Come, 60-day devotional on sale. 35 days in the Old Testament, 25 days in the New Testament. This is where we actually transition into the New Testament, day 36. And what's cool about this is we have a reading that you go through. There's a verse here that kind of summarizes the reading, and then there is a additional chapter of reading with custom journal prompts at the end of each reading. So there's also a section for prayer requests. I always recommend you keep track of your prayers.